only popular because of the position that he has. And he was persuaded. So they got rid of me. But, you know...
well, somebody said...
So what has happened today?
Yeah, somebody's saying the impeachment was unlawful, but we're not going to talk about that. So now that you have a party, we've seen hands exchanging. This is a history repeating itself in regards of handshake, handshake, handshake. We've seen it so many times with government. So now that you have your own party, for peace sake and unity sake in Kenya, right, for us to have one Kenya and one government, are you willing, if President Ruto was to call you today, are you willing to sit down and have a dialogue of handshake and peace for the country?
No, that handshake nonsense is responsible for the erosion of our democracy. Good democracy needs government and opposition.
Yes.
Because absolute power corrupts. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. The hole we are in as a country is because the president has gone rogue. He's become a dictator. And because there's nobody to ask him any question.
We don't have a strong...
Yeah, because there's no opposition.
Yeah.
The National Assembly we have today at Moses Wetangula is worse than the National Assembly we had during the one-party era.
Yes.
And the single party at the KANU. We had a very bad parliament. But this one at the Moses Wetangula is terrible. Wetangula, the Speaker of National Assembly, behaves like a youth wing of UDA. You can see him in Harambee talking about UDA and two-term. Yet he is supposed to be an arbiter, an umpire in National Assembly. He's not supposed to have an opinion.
Yes.
He's supposed to wait for the legislators to come there, and then he can moderate the debate and allow the people to make a decision.
Yes.
But himself, he is propagating the same matters that come in parliament in public rallies. So, by neutralizing ODM, by making sure that he got rid of his deputy who was level-headed and who loved his country and who was patriotic enough not to agree to things that are wrong, he has a few days to do whatever he wants. So asking me to have a handshake with William Ruto will just even make him worse. You see, right now we are checking him and he's not liking it. To tell you the truth, we are giving him better opposition than Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga was a good opposition leader, but to be truthful, he didn't have the energy we have. In terms of being agile, in terms of articulating issues, we have a more serious opposition than we had during the time of Raila Odinga, which is good for the country. So today, if I agree to have a handshake with William Ruto, I will just be giving him a blank check to continue with the excesses, abductions, extrajudicial killing, sale of public assets, theft of public funds, you know, destruction of institutional governance. You know, Parliament is no longer an independent institution. It has been captured. The Senate has been captured. The governors cannot speak. Nobody can speak. So we are the only remaining voice. So we will be very unfair to the people of Kenya. I don't think the people of Kenya would ever forgive me. If today I went and shook hands with William Ruto in exchange either of money or positions or privilege.
Because you can never...
Maybe I can go and say, oh, we'll give you security, or we'll give you cars, or we'll give you some money, or we'll give you 3 ministers, and all that nonsense. I'm not interested. We have a job to do. We have to keep him in check, so that this country can stand. And we have even a bigger duty, a more serious responsibility to work very hard to have change of government next year through constitutional means, as we don't want to remove William Ruto unconstitutionally. You know, I heard Murkomen saying that I'm inciting people by saying they need to deal with traitors. For the record, Murkomen must know anybody who betrays voters is a traitor.
By default.
A traitor is a traitor, and traitors must be called out. And I am on record saying all traitors must be punished, but on the ballot. I'm not telling anybody to
On the
beat them.
ballot.
I'm
I
not
like
telling
that.
anybody. I'm not
Yes.
telling anybody to beat them.
To take
I'm
a
not telling
stone or
anybody to
fire.
do. No.
Yeah.
I'm even saying,
Yes.
when we had a funeral in Olokalau, and William Ruto was there, and the people are very hostile to him. I said, no.
Yes.
Let this guy speak.
Yeah.
We have a problem with him.
Yes.
But the Constitution has given us an opportunity next year
Yes.
to get rid of him.
Yes.
Let's wait for that opportunity. For now, he is president. Allow him to speak. Even these members of parliament who support him, they have betrayed the Kenyan people. They are traitors. We must deal with them. And that is why I use figurative language. I have heard some people trying to twist it. Kuua nyoka na mayai. That is figurative language. I'm a student of literature. And the power of figurative speech in terms of communication is very powerful. Kuua nyoka means getting rid of William Ruto on the ballot.
On the ballot.
With the eggs are all the people who support him. We cannot get rid of him and leave the fellows who support him around, because they have betrayed the Kenyan people, and they can betray the people of Kenya again.
But the ballots thing, tuko kadi, right? I feel like because we don't have a civil education in terms of voting right, who am I voting for? It's all about greed, it's all about money, it's all about what we are getting. Because if I'm hungry and somebody puts food on my table, I'll take it. But if there's civil education, yes, take the money. And I'm for Kenyans. Anybody who wants to take the money, take it. But when you're going to vote, you're by yourself. Nobody knows who you're voting for, so vote right. But if we have civil education, don't you think this will now help us to vote well and to also take that voting card?
My sister, the IEBC is supposed to do a lot of civic education, and they are not doing it. The civil society used to be very vibrant in Kenya. That is no longer the case. But have comfort. These public rallies we do every week, is civic education. We are educating the people of Kenya, and they are getting it. We had some nominations in a place called Olakalau, where it's a by-elections. And the UDA party of William Ruto was having nominations on Friday. The DCP, my party, had nominations on Saturday. So UDA people were giving people money, including DC people, to go and vote for the aspirants for UDA. And the people of Olakalau said, no, we love money, yes. We need money, yes. We have a lot of problems, we can do with some money. But this one we don't want, because we don't belong to UDA. We don't like UDA. We belong to DCP. The president had released 40 million Kenya shillings to mobilize 40,000 residents of Olakalau at a cost of 1,000 per person. So they were supposed to get 40,000 people turning up for their nomination. They got 3,000. And because they were using electronic gadgets, they escalated the figures to 8,000. But the ones who turned up are 3,000. Assuming they even turned up 8,000. Let's give them the benefit of doubt. 32,000 residents of Olakalau say, no, we don't want money. That's very huge victory for our democracy.
Yes.
It means people are very enlightened. And people, no matter how much they are struggling, can say, no, we are not going to sell our birthright.
Yes.
We are not going to sell our democratic right. So 32,000 people being enticed with 1,000 shillings that they need because they have no food,
yes,
said no. Only 8,000 succumbed to that, what do you call it, inducement, you know. So our democracy is coming of age. And I can tell you, between now and next year in March, we shall be all over the country. And in these public rallies we do, they are part of the civic education, is telling people, you people cannot accept money, yeah, and elect dictators. You cannot take money and elect people who will destroy the health system. Then when you go to hospital, there are no drugs. And the money that you are given is not sufficient to buy you drugs for 5 years. You cannot take 2,000 shillings, elect the wrong people, then for 5 years your children cannot go to school. And I think Kenyans are getting it. Because I've even seen in many places where they have been given money. after the president has left, they shout one time, which means they are just taking the money, but their heart is well protected. Their conscience is clear that even if they are taking money, that money will not corrupt them to do the wrong thing. They will still take the money and do the right thing. And I think I'm very encouraged by what is happening across the country, and more so what happened in Olkalau. And I'm sure during the by-election on July 16th, that will be more pronounced. There will be a lot of money, but people will do the right thing, I can assure you.
Okay. So my next, I'll ask, is loyalty in African politics, is it real, or is it just temporary alignment of interest?
Well,
because I've heard in different forums that this is what I was promised, this is what was promised of me, but it wasn't delivered. So is it all about the interest of what I was meant to get, or what I'm getting, or is it actually for the people?
Our politics have been very indecent, and we have had a lot of the politics of betrayal and deception, where you promise heaven to the electorate and deliver hell. And that is why there is a very big overturning of leaders. If our leaders are elected, like 70% of members of parliament usually don't come back. Because when they were campaigning, they promised heaven, then they deliver hell. People have no loyalty to the voters. Voters are very loyal people. By the time voters vote for you, they really trust you. I can tell you, William Ruto was trusted by Kenyans. They believed him. The guy was very persuasive. He was hardworking, he was everywhere. Bottom-up economic transformation, signing economic charters with the people of Kenya. Uhurukenyatta tried to say, this guy is not good for the country. Please don't elect him. He will mess this country. Nobody could listen because he had promised heaven to the people of Kenya. And they believed it, they trusted, they were loyal to what he said. But he did not mean, or he was saying he did not intend to do it. And that is why you find the people who supported him most are the ones who have the biggest problem with him, because they were loyal. So they feel more betrayed than even those who did not elect him. In fact, you find those who did not elect him are not having a very big problem with him, because they don't feel deceived. They knew he's not good, so they are saying, we told you. So they are not very angry. But the people he deceived, the people he convinced that he means well, the people he convinced he will transform their lives, and then he has done the exact opposite of what he promised, they are very bitter. And they are looking for revenge on the ballot, of course, you know. So loyalty has been two-way. The voters have been very loyal to their leaders. But I'm afraid we, the leaders, have not been loyal to our supporters. And many of us have let our people down. And I'm trying to be different. And I am praying to God to give me wisdom, to give me a good conscience, discerning spirit, to be loyal to my supporters, because they have been very loyal to me. When I was removed from office, they follow me. I go to public meetings, I don't spend a cent. They come in thousands. They trust me. They were told, this guy will lead you nowhere. He is impeached, he cannot be even a village elder. Don't follow him. But